Well, dear journal, to be honest, I didn't know if I would have a journal in which to make an entry today, but thanks to Astharus, I suppose I do. At least have him to thank for having my house, or parts of it still. But let me start at the beginning. I was all prepared and ready to go to the land of the dragons, but Kael apparently was caught up in some other business and didn't contact me today, so that's fine. I busied myself with improving my power, mana collection, rather, which becomes power. And, well, so I did that. I'll put a picture in the journal here in a moment about that. Let's see, where do I start? Well, some really strange things started happening down there. And I thought it was Astharus fooling around, or possibly Damnatio, but as it was, the taint tentacle that appeared and the taint node that appeared twice, and I destroyed both times. And then there was tainted cows and tainted bats, and, well, you can name it. There was probably a tainted version, tainted warrior or something. There was all kinds of weird things appearing there. And Damnatio then showed up, and I assumed that, well, I didn't assume, he said he wasn't responsible for it, so then of course, then I assumed it was Astharus doing it. But, well, Damnatio was not, well, I mean, he's not exactly the most stable individual right now, or at that point. He still wasn't, I mean, that was Alair, and now he's Damnatio, but now he seemed to remember sort of being Alair. At least he would talk about Alair, but as if it was a different person, but in still some respects saying that it was kind of him, but not really admitting that. It was really, really odd. But then he started, it was like he wanted to talk about Aeterna. He needed something. I wasn't sure. And so even though I had decided that I wasn't going to talk to Aeterna unless it was really important, I felt this was important enough. Like, it wasn't for my purposes, it was for him. I thought he needed to talk to her. So I told him that I would do what I could. He do it. That's what he wanted. He literally, I got it did. I spoke to Aeterna, asked her to come, and we needed this down. And one of my spirit chat, Gore, actually mentioned that that's probably what was missing, and I agreed. And so I told Damnatio, like, at that point he was standing there over, he'd come from the hydrangea room over there, and he was asking, he said the statue, and I said yes, I need the statue. So the one that Ian stole would be the only one that I would have had accessible, although taking it without Lillith knowing wouldn't, I don't know if I would have or not, without her permission, because, well, it was hers, but on the other hand, I had a god here in dire straits, so, I mean, but it was moot anyway, because Ian had stolen it, and so I don't know if Damnatio got the one that Ian stole, or if he made a brand new one. I don't know. I don't know if the gods can make those. I mean, they should be able to, they're gods, but they have rules that I don't completely understand. So he put the statue down, and so I lit the portal again, and I called out to Aeterna, and she couldn't come. Her spirit couldn't show before us. because of what Astharus had done to tighten up the cage, but she was able to speak so that we could both hear. And I kept quiet as she talked to him, and it was hard for me not to speak because, you know me, I like to ask questions, but I felt that they needed to talk together, and so I didn't move because I didn't know if I had to stand there and hold the focus in order for this to continue or what. So I just stayed there. But the outcome of the conversation wasn't very good. As a result of talking with Aeterna, it was like he was flickering between Alair and Damnatio and another extremely chaotic, dark self. And I did make one comment to try to help, because Aeterna did tell him that I was working to free her, and so I told him to hold fast that I was working on those things. But it didn't help. Maybe it made it worse, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I did the right thing in allowing them to speak together, because maybe he wouldn't have gone off the deep end, the further deep end. I thought he was off the deep end before, but apparently there was a deeper deep end, and he went off that. He went into that chaotic third personality and stayed there, and went after Astharus, and there was a horrible, horrible fight in the skies above. I'm not sure. You could hear blood and eternal organs, and it was like it was raining down from the skies. But Astharus was still alive, because I guess he can't be killed. But it was very, very upsetting, and I stayed underground because, I mean, what do? You can't just, I mean, I'm well, sort of immortal here. I'm not immortal. I am a mortal. I can die permanently. The fact that I don't die permanently here is not my doing. It's their doing. So I would assume that if I went up there, I could get caught in the crossfire, so I just stayed down below. And then, this puzzled me at the time. Astharus started talking about sending Evalyn to safety while he was destroying things. The chaotic personality of Alair, this deeper deep end, was destroying everything. He was literally destroying everything. He was putting TNT down, and he was exploding everything. All this, it was blown to smithereens. There was a big gaping hole here. My tree was blown apart. Everything was gone out here. And the whole front of this was gone. And there's still, to show that I'm not hallucinating, I have some evidence of I think Astharus is the one that replaced the house. I say it was him because, well, the chaotic personality wasn't here anymore. I don't know what to call him. It's not Alair. It wasn't Damnatio. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. One thing that I did ask Aeterna while she was watching, I guess, the fight between Astharus and the chaotic personality of Alair, I did ask her if I had completed the first trial. I think I did. I think she said I did, but I'm gonna have to think about it and replay it in my mind to make sure, but I'm like 99% sure she said I had completed the first trial. But I need to meditate on it and make sure that I'm not just wistful thinking. So that was while they were fighting that I felt that it was important to ask her that, because I knew that at any point she would be having to go, and I still don't know if I have to release her for her to go, because she said she was leaving, and so I of course said, well, I will release you then if I have to do that in order for you to leave. But there was nothing we could do. She said there was nothing I could do to help what was going on. And then there was Astharus saying, let's send Evalyn to the future where she'll be safe, because I think he was trying to talk the chaotic personality down, which is really odd for him, because he normally is prodding at him and inciting him. But, so I thought, well, why would Astharus want to save me? Why? And I think I have an answer to that now, because after a time, the chaotic personality of Alair did agree that I should be sent away to the future. And I said, yes, please, send me. And then suddenly I wasn't here anymore. I was in a place that had to have been the desert out there, near that weird... Actually, I realize I'd forgotten to write in the journal about this, but Kael and I, a little bit ago, had seen a very strange structure out in the desert. It was like a square castle-y type thing, and apparently that's Ian's residence, Ian the vampire. But that's where we went. And I say we because when I was sent to the future, Lillith was there, and she told me we had to go shut down the portal. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What portal? And because, of course, she didn't realize, I don't think that, I mean, was it just my soul that was sent forward in the future? I don't know. But she said that Kaz and Glade were both dead, killed by Ian, like permanently killed, as in not waking up by their bed type of falling in battle, which has before been the case here. And then she said we needed to shut down the portal that was Astharus's portal, and we needed to shut it down. So I'm okay, fine, we need to shut it down. So we went to Ian's home, and he was there. He is the seer of Astharus, I discovered then. He's the seer. I thought that would have been Kael, but I still don't know if you can have more than one seer. Anyway, the gods, that is. Anyway, he basically invited us in, and Lillith whispered to me that we needed to go through the portal in order to shut it down. And so I tried to figure out how to get into that portal. I tried walking on it, and that didn't really work, and I tried, because I didn't stay on it, I tried flying up to it with the air sled, and that didn't work. So I whispered to her, how do we get into it? She said, well, to stand on the portal, it would take us up. And then I guess we were all three supposed to go through there, Ian included. At least that's what I thought. And so I'm like, okay, fine. So I went and I stood on the arcane levitator, which sent me up to the portal. And I thought I heard Lillith die. But was it fallen in battle like we do and reappear, or was it really dying? And then I was back in the present. I was back at the origin, or not the origin of the world, but the place we originally arrived at. Here. And Astharus was saying, so, how was the future? And I'm like, I was confused. He soon let me know that I was back, where I basically had been sent away, except Alair's chaotic personality was strangely quiet, so I don't know if he kind of raged himself out and is off recovering. Maybe he'll be Damnatio again. I hope. Maybe he'll be Alair again. That would be lovely. I'm not going to hold my breath for that, though. And he wanted to know what I'd seen in the future. He wanted to know if how his plan has been working out. I didn't tell him anything. He wanted to know if everybody was dead, if what was going on, and I didn't tell him anything. But he didn't bring me back. He thought it was the entities, possibly, that had brought me back. And yes, I was talking to him, because I wasn't going to, and then I'm like, well, I need to get some answers as to what's going on. So I did talk to him a little bit. But that, if you're all confused now, welcome to my brain. It's very confusing. I think meditating a little bit will help me clarify it, but the best I can ascertain at the moment is that that's one possible future what I saw. I think that's what's going to happen if I don't free Aeterna. Because in that future, that is Astharus winning. And that means the death of everything. That's what he wants. Everything dead, everything gone. So, I guess, I mean, it's not like I've been dragging my heels on doing the trials. But it just feels like I'm not going fast enough. Oh yes, the carrots. Ian. That's Ian. Anyway. So when I came back from the place where we first appeared, I came back towards to home. And yep, there was the big crater here. The tree was gone. I went downstairs, and I'll show you what I saw down there in a moment. Well, I've actually repaired some of it. But when I came back up again, it looked like Astharus actually restored my house for the most part. However, the doors were missing, which I quickly remedied. And I'm not certain, but I think my hidey hole, Ian probably could have walked right in, and he might know where it is now. So I think I'm going to have to relocate that to a different location. Just in case. Maybe he never came inside, I don't know. But the door was gone, so I think it's possible he could have. I don't know if... Because my garlic was gone too. I've replaced that. So when you come outside, for the most part, other than the carrots, it looks pretty much like it did before. But that's because it was restored by the gods, by Astharus, oddly enough. But downstairs, there was a few chests that were empty that I had things in before. I mean, fortunately, what was gone wasn't that important. So this was full of cobble, or not cobble, but stone. And there was a few things that vanished over here, all my gems, but I had already taken the most important ones downstairs. So I'm not too worried about that. I lost the ore that I had in here, but again, I had taken most of it downstairs. There wasn't very much in there, if anything at all. This is still here. That's still here. So some of my things were restored in full, but that's, yeah, I had tools and stuff in here that I was getting from the mob farm. So I'm not too worried about that. But both these doors were gone, and... Oh. Alright, well, they're back, I guess. Oh well, it was a very confusing time. Maybe they were here all along, and I just didn't see them. Alright. Alright, I do have to move them out, though, some other place. Just to make sure. But yes, downstairs. Let me draw a picture in the journal of the vast chasm. I put this floor in, and I put that wall up. But this is my stairwell here, so my entire mushroom farm is gone. I wasn't really using them, so I'm not too worried about that, but my room, it's all gone. But I guess I'll have to try to rebuild it. But the most important things were still here. Yes, I put a door here because that was gaping open before, and I thought perhaps, oh dear. This isn't quite as secure as I thought it was. There we go. I think that... Oh my. Okay. It blew that much up. Okay, I didn't realize that. This is... all my animals were killed, apparently. Well, I guess I'm... well, that really is a pain. Gonna have to go collect more animals, I guess. Because we're gonna need them for the next trial. At least that's what I was planning on doing. Wow. Alright. Well. Anyway, journal. So the rest of it is pretty much untouched, as far as I can tell, from the chaos. Although I did have to collect up a bunch of TNT that Damnatio spattered around in here. Fortunately, it was not primed, and I was able to pick it up without, you know, exploding, which I was grateful for. But this is where I was working when all the weirdness started happening. Particularly this corner. This corner was very bad. I'm not sure why. That's where it was mostly happening. So, dear journal, I guess I have to rebuild. I have to rebuild my animal stock. Because we're going to need, unfortunately, from their point of view, a lot of blood. And that's about the size of what I know about the blood of life rituals. We're gonna need blood, and well, I suspect I'll have to supplement it personally, but especially if with all the animals being gone. Wow. Alright, journal, I think I'm going to end it here. I kind of run out of things to say. It was just, well, it was crazy. It was crazy. Did I really go to the future? I think I did. Astharus was certainly eager to know what I'd saw, but I didn't tell him. I suppose he could read it in this journal, but, well, if I keep it in my pocket, maybe it'll work. Anyway, I'm going to end this journal here, and perhaps next time I make a journal entry, it might actually be something that I thought I was going to write about. That doesn't happen very often anymore. I often write about things I had no clue were going to happen. Alright, the end.